Hello guys, and welcome back to more Classic Arcade Repairs. Today actually yesterday I started on this. It's a Rock-Ola Warp, and this one was stated as only having color issues. And I tracked it down to this latch right here. It's a 374. And it latches the color data and sends it out through the typical digital to analog conversion and sends it out as RGB. Okay, I replaced that guy, 374. And the colors are correct. Let me come over and see Warp. And I actually had to get on MAME and pull this game up in MAME to check it out because I've never played this. And these are correct colors. So I think what I'm going to do right off the bat is let's play some Warp. And then I have another board that is dead. Another Warp board that is dead. And I noticed right off the bat I swapped the ROMs from that one, that Warp board. I took the EEPROMs out of that and put into this, and it did not work. So I know the ROMs are not good. And this uses an 80. This uses an 8080 processor, and that one came with a Z80 in it. So that Z80 was it was subjected to -5 and 12 volt bias voltages, so it's probably dead. Sometimes those are pretty resilient, though. It might actually be okay. It remains to be seen. I've got the Z80 right there, and I actually put a new 8080 in that one. I actually took the 8080 out of this one, and I put it into that one because I know that 8080 is good. And then I grabbed an 8080 out of my stock and put it into this one. So I know my CPUs are good. This is going to need new ROMs for that one. And then we'll go from there. And heck, that might be all that's wrong with that one. I don't know. It could be ROMs and the fact that it had the incorrect CPU in it. And maybe we'll go through and clean the boards up. Maybe replace some capacitors. The power capacitors. This is getting power from my Pac-Man transformer. So this is a lot like a Pac-Man board. Same power setup as Pac-Man, basically. So we'll go through and maybe we'll replace these two guys and all of these electrolytics up here. And put some window coverings on these. And I will have to burn new ROMs for that board. And then I also have over here, this customer sent along, it's a Rock-Ola repair session. Rock-Ola. We also have coming up, this is called Pioneer Balloon, and it is the same pinout exactly as this guy right here, which is Nibbler. Not working, Nibbler. So one harness, I'll build one harness for these two boards, okay? One harness will work for those two. Then I have two eyes PCBs here. And look how small that little board is, little tiny board. And then we have two jump bug boards, both of them not working, I believe. So we'll go through these Rock-Ola board sets. You know, one video at a time. Maybe we'll do 2 boards per video or something like that. I don't know. It depends on how long they are, to be honest. But this one's starting with this. And it was just 1 chip. I just tracked it down to the 1 chip, had a bad bit. So let's play some warp. Okay, and we'll go turn the lights off. Warp. Okay, coin. Start. I blew myself up. Oh, you son of a gun. All right. Warp. I guess they called it warp because the text in the middle of the screen says warp. Yeah. All right. A fun little Pac-Man clone. Warp. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get this one off the bench. It's working just fine. And we'll do all the maintenance type stuff later. The caps and stuff. I'll do that all at the same time. When I do that, the caps on that one, I'll do the caps on this one too. So let's just move this one to the side. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my programmer out and I'm going to dump these and then just reburn them. Basically copy these and then put the... Actually what I should do is I will erase the ROMs that were in it and then I will burn them based on the files in here. That's what I'll do. Let me get set up and start on that. Now it's going to take a good 15 minutes to erase these, so I'll go ahead and do that first. Alright, and after doing all of the checking, I did find three of the original EPROMs were fine. 2 of them in the set that didn't work, which is this one. 2 ROMs were no good. And it is this guy and this guy. Those 2 were not good. So I'm in the process right now of erasing those 2 under the UV light. And then I'll reprogram those and see where we're at. This board's got some crust on it. It's got quite a bit of rust. Rusty and crusty. Rock-Ola. But I did verify already that the 5 volts is good. So the power's good on this thing. And it actually, I think it would come up and ding at me, and then it would just be a black dead screen. So I wonder what this is. What is this? This little board right here. Interesting. Anywho, yeah. Okay. Once those are erased, I'll reprogram them and we'll be back. Okay, so with my good board, I went through and I verified all of the ROMs. And even after checking, this one is no good. This 2716 1T that goes right here, the board will not run with this ROM, so I think this ROM is just internally no good. Something ain't right with it, so I'm going to have to just flat out replace it. So I'll get one. These ones all tested good. These ones are all okay right here. And so I'll have to burn another 2716 for this set, and then we'll see where we're at. All right, getting to look at this board. I really just do not like how nasty this board looks. And these sockets right here are absolute trash. Those all need to be replaced. All of those. And then I'm going to look at these really well and determine whether I need to replace any of these. They may clean up just fine. But yeah, this one needs a bath. This board is filthy nasty. It's got a lot of crust. And it needs a lot of help. So we're going to have to do some maintenance on this guy. Yep. A lot of rusty chips. I don't like that. Well, we'll see. First things first, I need to clean this thing up. So let's do that first. Now, this is one of those boards that, since it has that corrosion on it, it is not easy to remove parts from this board. You have to be patient. You have to solder before you desolder. Yeah, I just took this guy out over here, and it basically, you have to use your iron and just burn some solder into those joints and then go through and desolder them. It's painstaking. We'll continue on. Okay. Well, what I did is I got all those sockets out that I wanted to get out. I removed all the electrolytics. Removed all the caps. The electrolytic caps, they had 10 microfarad caps on every power rail across this board. And that is absolutely unnecessary. You've got your 0.1 microfarad standard decoupling, and all you need is one cap across the power rail, about a 100 to 220 microfarad cap. And I clipped all of those 10 microfarad caps off. They went all around the board. You'll see on this one. They're all around the power rail. 10 microfarad caps. Now these are actually, are those electrolytic? I don't know. Anyway, on this one, on this board, I just clipped all of those off. I started desoldering them, and I was like, I'm just going to clip them off. So I just clipped them all off, and I'm going to put one 220 microfarad cap right here across the power rail. And that will take care of all of that. So I was able to get all of these sockets out good. I washed this board. This board was so dirty, nasty, dirty. I washed it really good. I'll have to use lacquer thinner to go over this, clean this residue off of here. I'll do that with some lacquer thinner. I removed the two regulators up here. It has a -5 and a 12 regulator up here. So I'll replace those, all the caps, the sockets. And I think this is a this might be a power on reset. You know, we can check that right now. My suspicion is that that's power on reset. Little reset circuit. Okay. And I will take, and it looks like the output is this green line, which is right here, and it resets pin 12, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, well, maybe that is not reset. Alright, I guess it is not power on reset. Let's see where that goes. Oh, it goes to this transistor. And I replaced this transistor. This had a 3904 in it that had two of the legs crossed. So I put a 2SC 1815 or 1810, 1815, something like that, in there so that it's actually the correct pinout. Yeah. Boy, these chips right here are rusty. Rusty, crusty, and nasty. But I could look at the schematic and find out what this is. I still think it might be... Well, let's... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know what this does. I really don't. Like, what is this chip? No idea. I'd have to look at the schematic. But I think what I'm going to do next is clean the back of this board with some lacquer thinner, get that residue off of it, and then it'll be time to start repopulating this board. And yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, so I have new caps all in the board, new sockets. I didn't have axial caps, so I had to use radials and just tie the grounds together and bring them back. Same thing with this 2200. Caps. All sockets. I re-cleaned the board again after doing all my work. So now we've got this pile of chips, and remember I do have to burn one more EEPROM. And I want to go ahead and get my Inquisitor out, test the RAMs. And I might as well go inside and test all of the logic chips as well. Make sure they're all good. Start with good parts. And go from there. So yeah, let me do that. I'm going to verify all the RAM, these logic chips. I will burn another EEPROM. And then in just a snap, I'll be back. For you anyway. And we'll be hooking this thing up. Okay, and after RAM testing, there were 6 2114s. Here's 2, 4, and 6. And of the 6, 2 were bad. So, and they were both ceramic that were bad. So what I did was I wanted to keep them kind of uniform looking, so I used one of my ceramics, put it in here, and then one regular plastic one up here. So you got your plastic 2114s up here and your ceramic ones back here. Not that it matters, but I'm neurotic like that. So, all right. Next thing I'm going to do is go in, test all of these logic chips, make sure they're good, and then populate those. And I still got to burn the ROM. And then we'll be good to go. We'll be ready to give it a shot. The one thing I had to do is I had to reinstall the -5 regulator that was originally in it because I don't have any. That took me by surprise. I don't have any 7905s. So I will be ordering some. I did replace the 12 volt, but not, I had to put the old one back in. Which, whatever. It's a little irritating, but it'll be alright. It'll be okay. Alright, let's go ahead and test these out, burn a ROM, see what we got. Okay, well, I got this thing all repopulated. Now I did just scam this ROM from that board. Programming an EEPROM is elementary. So I wanted to hurry up and get this thing tested. So I yanked that ROM out of that board, put it in here. So I still have to program a ROM. And I went through and did testing. The 138 right here was bad. 2 of the 367s, there's a handful of 367s. There's 6 of them actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 of them, 2 of them tested bad. And then 1 of them tested really flaky, so I just replaced 3 of them. Right here was interesting because this is a 107 according to that board. That board has a 107 in this spot. Either this board didn't have a chip there and it was unpopulated, or it had the wrong chip in the board, because I didn't have a 107. I did not pull a 107 out of this board. So I'll have to go back through the video and see if this thing was even populated. I don't think it was. It's supposed to be a 107. Anyway, got that. Everything else, all the other logic tested good. So I did have to replace a handful of logic chips. Yeah. Anyway, put that ROM in there and populated with new good stuff where I need it, and see what we get. That sounds good. Warp. That looks good. Well, let's turn off the lights and play some warp on this board. Okay, we don't get full darkness because we don't get the full darkness because it's very light outside. So anyway, Anyway, that one's set to 2 coins per play. This one seems way harder than the other one. It must be dip switch settings. Alright. I'm going to die on purpose. And what I want to do is turn this thing off and set the dip switches exactly like the other board. This one seems way harder than this other one. So I'm going to, really quick, I'm going to set the dip switches how this other board is. Okay, it looks like open, open, or open, on, open. Okay. And then let's try that. See what we get. I don't know. I guess maybe it's just that hard. I don't know. Come on. Huh. Anyway, I'm going to swap the other board really quick because it seems like this one's harder. They shoot a lot of bullets. So I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to do this on while the camera's rolling. Remove that ROM. Okay. Put the other board on here. Almost there. Okay, plug the other ROM back in. Can't see what I'm doing, I gotta put on my glasses. Okay. Plug in the ROM. And fire it up. This is the original board. I just want to see if it plays the same with them shooting so many bullets at you. I don't remember that, but I don't really know this game. Let's point it up. Oh yeah, okay. It's the same. Alright, yeah, it's the same. Anyway, I set the dip switches the same now. Oh well. All right, I'm going to cut away, and then I'm going to plug the other board back in, the one that I just repaired, and play that one some more. Okay, we're back to the more recently repaired board, and let's play another game. I kind of dig this. I kind of like this game. Nah. I need to warp. All right. Well, turn the lights on. Okay. This one, here's my thinking on this. I tested the caps that came off of this, and they were all fine. The main reason I wanted to replace these caps on this board is because there was corrosion and crust and rusty junk on the caps themselves. These ones look fine. I'm not going to replace those caps. I'm really not in the business of replacing parts that don't need to be replaced. Those capacitors on there most likely will never go bad. It's the smaller value guys that go bad. The smaller value and higher voltage caps. Like your 10 microfarad at 250 volts, those are prone for going bad. 10 microfarad period, 1 microfarad period. Those kind of caps like that. So yeah, I'm not bothering with those ones because I think they're going to be fine. It's like you're doing stuff that don't need to be done, is the way I'm looking at it. My opinion. But these ones, this board was just crusty and looked like it just needed to be done. It needed the maintenance. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and let this one run. I've already let that one run for 3 hours. So I'm going to let this one run for 3 hours, come out and play it periodically. And yeah, you know how I clipped up all of those caps around the side, those 10 microfarad caps? I replaced it with one single 100 microfarad cap right here on the power rail. Instead of all of those, just replace it with one cap. This has decoupling. It's got the 0.1 decoupling caps all over the place. That was just overkill and unnecessary. Yeah, it was weird. Anyway, that's it. This one had some bad socketed parts, had the incorrect CPU installed in it. Was missing this chip, or it had something else in place of it. I don't know. It was weird. Handful of bad chips. Recapped. You know what, man? Maybe I should just replace those caps. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll replace those capacitors, even though they're good. You know, I don't think they need to be replaced, but I'll go ahead and replace them. I'll replace this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and then these two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 caps I'll replace. These are tantalums or something like that. I'm not messing with those. But those ones I'll replace. I'm sure that'll make everyone happy. So we'll do that. Let this one run. And I'm not going to bother you doing that on camera. I'm just take my word. I'm going to do it. So, yeah. And I'm going to program the other ROM, of course. But that's it for this one, guys. That's 2 warp boards. And I will let you guys answer this question, and I'll take a little bit of a poll, and maybe like a 1 or 2 day poll or something like that, if I get enough responses to this. Which ones do you want to see done next? Because I have to make a harness for each one of these. We've got the eyes boards, we've got jump bug, and we've got a nibbler and a pioneer balloon, which uses the same pinout, so I can use the same harness. But I've got to build harnesses for each one of these. You know, so it is what it is. So you let me know in the comments. Eyes, jump bug, nibbler. Those are your 3 choices. Which 2 boards do you want to see done next? So vote down below, and yeah, we'll see you then.